I need a shot sheet. Hello.
On the report card, can Jay Serra continue their hot streak dating back to last year? Will the Santa Margarita Eagles three-peat as national champions? Can Capistrano United win their third straight league championship? Plus, St. Mary's battles the elements to come to Southern California, and the Pacific Ridge School Firebirds kick off the season in style again. Finally, what is the big reveal the league has been teasing about this show? That and more begins right now on the report card. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the report card. We're finally live. We apologize for the inconvenience, but we are here. My name's Christian Ilten. This is the one and only Chuck Lejsek. Chuck, we're back. This is season 3 of the report card.
Yes, absolutely excited to do this and looking forward to our new and revamped format where we will be bringing you highlights, scores, standings, everything under the sun right here on the ADHSHL report card.
Chuck said it. We got a lot of stuff coming in. Brand new format. This is not the old report card. This is not your grandmother's report card. This is a brand new report card, rather, if I could ever say it. And that is why we decided if we're changing the format, we need to change something else. We've been teasing that big reveal all week long on the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League social media. Well, here it is. This is what the big secret was. right, well, there it is. We've got everything going on completely the way we planned it all out today, Chuck.
Definitely worth the wait.
Well, that is what you see there, folks. A brand new The Report Card logo. This is a brand new show. We're changing some things up, and the logo needed a change too. Make sure you use hashtag The Report Card when doing anything online. I don't care what it is. Just make sure you hashtag The Report Card. Let's get some interest into the show. That being said, this is the new report card. Let's kick it off right now. You know, last year, Chuck, Pacific Ridge kicked off everything in style. In fact, we even got to come down and have fun.
Went down there. Yeah, we did. It was absolutely outstanding.
And make sure you talk into the microphone. People can't hear you at home.
It was outstanding. Went to the homecoming pep rally. Absolutely outstanding turnout. Let's take a look what we had this last week, but Pacific Ridge in their home opener. And as Tom Petty would say,
coming right now.
Waiting.
Here it comes. There it is.
Part. Right here, let's take off right off the bat. Will Schneider right there at 8-10 with the goal gives Pac Ridge a lead. Then here comes Luke Stengler. Watch this stick handling as he dipsy-do. How do you do around everybody? And then he will deposit the biscuit in the basket for another goal. And then we have Patty O'Donnell coming up. Basically the straw that stirs the drink. He's going to thwart a one-on-none opportunity right there as he makes his 10 of 11 saves right there. Now from behind the net, here's Shoemake, who will also deposit a goal, and basically the route is on from there. Finally, we got Bill Schneider scoring his second goal as he goes right in the middle of the slot, fires across the ice, and then finally, last but not least, let's watch Jace Phillips deposit the biscuit in the basket as he beats the goaltender far from the right-hand circle. Basically, it's all Firebirds as they defeat the La Jolla Country Day Tories by a score of 11-1. Let's take a look at some of the statistics as well. You had 4 players with 2 goals and assists each. You had Phillips, Zametti, Moore, and Stengler with 2 goals. And then, of course, you had Bill Schneider, basically the player of the game, 2 goals and an assist. And no, let's not forget Patty O'Donnell, as previously said, he had stopped 10 of 11 shots. Basically the backbone of that the Pacific Ridge. I had to be careful with that one. Basically the backbone of the Pacific Ridge Firebirds. They win this one easily. Home opener by a score of 11-1.
Yeah, another big showing as it was a homecoming kind of atmosphere, and we're once again underway in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Well, we actually started the season off just a couple of hours earlier right here in this building at the 5 Point Arena at Great Park Ice, because we had Tahoe Prep Academy taking on the Capistrano United Coyotes. Chuck, what happened there?
Well, let's take a look at Tahoe already trailing 1-0, and here's a bustle from Traverso at the 2:21 mark.
You're right.
Actually, it's still tied at 0-0, but he makes it 1-0 real quickly right there at the 2:21 mark to give
Alex Bustle in front, took that loose puck, fired it by Noah Saki.
He'll make it 2-1 7 seconds later. Here's a shot at the 12:54 mark.
And that one finds a way in,
2-1.
and short-handed, Capistrano United in
this is on the power
Fields
play, and right just like that.
Oh, not even 2-1 yet. It looks like we're a little ahead of the highlights. Oh, we're getting excited over here, Chuck.
Exactly.
That's unassisted too, right?
Now as we move back.
Should be.
And the way
and Tahoe comes back, and they're able to bury one.
Right there. As now we move on, Coyotes went to work in the second period, scoring 4 times. And let's watch Hammaker cap off the second with this steal and score. Kappa would jump out to a commanding 6-1 lead at that point. And basically after that, actually, yeah, well, here it is right here, 6-1.
Nullified, and it'll go run time.
Hammaker
Hammaker out of the
right
box
here.
here. It's 2-on-1.
This is
Skinari
Hammaker, he caps it off,
He
and he'll score and make it 6-1.
On a delayed
That was
penalty.
smooth
It
sailing
could have
for
been
the
a penalty
Coyotes after
shot.
that. They move
but
on
he
to win
buried
this
it
game
in
by
it.
a score of 9-3.
And that one is fired in.
Yeah, Hammaker actually
Right
had
off the
another
draw.
goal in the third, like you said,
Traverso
second
gets in
goal
on the
for
front.
him.
It's 8-3
And
Coyotes with 8
man, the Capistrano Coyotes, who have started off the season rather well, really get things going in that game with that final score of 93, Chuck.
Well, don't forget, they also did a great job last year. They went undefeated. Let's take a look at what they had in the game. They're absolutely outstanding. And what else can you say about the Coyotes as they move to undefeated? I believe they're now 3-0, discounting this game so far.
And the next game that we had on the docket was, well, some rivalry that you might have heard of before. Orange Lutheran, Santa Margarita. Always been a heated one. Let's take a look at these highlights.
just wide of the net, occupied by
All right, let's
Martinez.
move on.
Puck comes all the way out, and Orange Lutheran
Right
giving
away,
chase.
it's
Here they are,
Anthony
2-on-2 on the
Stiff
shorthand.
and
2-on-1 right now. Pass shot,
Lutheran to take a
score!
1-0 lead right there.
That's Luke Anthony
on,
from
stayed
Thomas
1-0 for a
Stiff.
while.
Red metal post. It would be
Late in the
2-0.
second.
Koskela wins the
Here's
faceoff,
another
gets it
goal.
right to
Looks like-
Casey,
or
splits
it's
the
actually
upright,
nothing right
fires
there.
a
There's a
shot,
goal
and
right
misses.
to tie it up,
Wide
make
open,
it
the puck.
1-1.
Here's Aiden Casey now.
Nick Smith then.
With Zimmerman, back to Hayden
Where's
now.
the Stiff?
Hayden now
This is
fires a
Stiff
shot
from
and scores! Just like that,
2-1.
Coach.
That is a beautiful play by Josh Hayden.
Credit Eric Pesolano with the fabulous handwriting, by the way.
Watch out right there. Shot, glove save, another rebound, score! There you go!
There it is.
Right here, here's Smith
Thomas
and Casey.
Stitt lights the
And
lamp
Luke
on a
leads 2-1.
3-shot sequence
Now,
right there.
Augustine
Yamasaki
adds the
left,
third Olu
made the
goal,
first
taking
two
a 3-1 lead to the intermission.
Brett now back over.
Let's
to
take a
Stitt.
look right
Stitt now
here.
fires a
Here's
pass
the shot.
over,
And
that
it's a score
time,
to make
just
it
missing.
3-1 in
High
favor
and
of
wide
Olu.
was Jackson Ferry.
Eagles
Picked up,
try to
but
mount
not
a comeback.
cleared.
It's
a good job once
back
again.
to Platt as he
By
was
Renner.
slide the
Back to
biscuit in the
Stitt,
basket.
down low. Pass. Oh, and it bounces out, knocked in that time, and it's scored by Thomas Stitt.
I don't know what happened.
Actually, this
Hurst
is
had the
still
puck down low, Chuck, and he tried to just throw it out in front of the net.
You know what,
By
technical
Santa
director,
Margarita.
go ahead and
Shot
just
comes
send
in
it over to
and
the
scored!
scorecard. No, he
That
says he's going to
time-
let it play. He took enough time
By
to
number
edit this
16,
thing together.
is
He's
that
going to
Gordon
make sure
Platt?
it gets played out.
I think that is Platt.
But obviously,
All right, there's
Platt.
Platt right there with 3-2.
He makes
I'm
his
sorry.
ninth save in 10
Okay.
opportunities. Back
Moving
up to
on
Koskela.
down.
Wires again. Top of the slot again.
Here's
Fires a
another
shot.
shot.
This time it's a blocker save. Move back up and now, ooh, watch out. Here's a man bringing it down. This is Jackson Ferry. Gets past ball, fires a shot, and scores
all right,
the
everybody,
empty
let's try to
netter.
gain our composure around here, all right?
Jackson
But
Ferry.
as Chuck had mentioned, Orange Lutheran and Santa
Lutheran's gonna
Margarita
win
just
it.
win at
As a
it.
shot
Couple
comes
of
in,
goals. It
blocked
was
aside.
ending up to be a
Orange Lutheran
4-2 final.
Upsets.
As
I
a
wouldn't call it
late
an upset,
Santa
but
Margarita
upset.
push
It's
just
not
was
an
for
upset.
naught, and Orange Lutheran
This
goes
is two
on to
very
win
good
this
hockey teams
game
going toe-to-toe.
by a final score of 4-2. Some highlights in the game. Platt, of course, with the goal and the point. Also was in the box for a couple of minutes, kind of donating time on every single spot. Smith also had a goal and assist. Yamasaki, 26 of 31 saves. Really nice way to get things going. I'm sorry, that was for Santa Margarita. Meanwhile, for Orange Lutheran, what can we say about Jackson Ferry?
Jackson Ferry's been kind of the straw that stirs the drink right there for Orange Lutheran. He brings some veteran composure right there, and I think he's going to be a dominant force for the Lancers as we move on.
Stift, Anthony, and Augustine also registering spots on the score sheet. Stift actually had 2 assists in the game as well. And Roberts, a young freshman, 21 for 23 on the save percentage, also a strong goalie for Orange Lutheran. Welcome back over here. We have dried our tears from laughing. We are here.
It's our first run.
We are living. This is our first run without Eric Pesolano. I'm not going to say we need him, but I'm going to say
we need better
it
handwriting.
helped. Okay, other people are saying no. But anyway, the next game that we want to highlight, boy, St. Mary's, we mentioned it in the open. St. Mary's had to get through a lot of stuff. The Fires last weekend were right where they needed to drive through. Ended up being a 12-hour bus ride,
12-hour
Chuck.
trip, and everybody knows when you come off the bus after a 12-hour trip, I mean, 6 hours is bad enough, but when you have to almost double your trip right there, that makes it a lot worse. And what do the Rams, who are the first teams they have to play? It's the Santa Margarita Eagles right there, the defending champions. That was on Friday night.
Yep.
And they end up basically, I would want to say it was 8-2 or something like that, where they ended up losing.
Yeah, you could tell they'd been on the bus for 12 hours.
exactly.
But then they showed up the next morning.
Then they showed up the next morning, and all of a sudden they play the Division II, actually last year's Division II runner-up in the Pacific Ridge Firebirds. And I'll tell you what, it was night and day, literally.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the highlights. As you see, we had the national anthem going, and then we got started. There was no scoring at all in the first period. So who needs it? Let's just skip right on into the second period. John Hansen was able to score the first notch on the power play, taking it up to 1-0 St. Mary's. 3 minutes later, Gonzalez doubles the score for St. Mary's, then 2-0. Schneider with a I'm going too fast now, man. We got to figure this thing out, man. Schneider with a goal made it 2-1.
Right there. It's a great play right there once again by St. Mary's. They up the lead, and all of a sudden before
to
Before
Schneider.
Pacific Ridge knew what happened,
Back
they
and
were
forth.
down
Here's
2-0.
Schneider with a
But
shot.
Ray, as you mentioned right here
Score!
comes Roberts coming in. He'll score a goal
William
to
Schneider
cut the lead in
lights
half.
the
Well, I
lamp,
didn't realize
and the
just how far
Firebirds
we
now
were ahead of
back over to the near
the
side
thing.
now.
Holy
Breeze it.
smokes.
Breeze it
I thought it was
to the half
a one-up.
Here we
That
go.
being
I
said,
believe it's
oh yeah,
to
go for
Actually,
it.
No,
shot
that's
and
another
score
goal
right there
Make it
by
3-1
number 7,
by the
Victor
Rams,
Gonzalez.
you'll get the
And
fourth goal
Christian
coming
was
up.
Mansell. Mansell, stick handling on a fumble.
Actually, this is
Gets
gonna
it back. Pass down low. Watch out. Coming out. Shot, score! Number 14.
McDowell that actually is going to get the goal here. Bring it to
And all of
within
a sudden-
one. Thought that
Wait, 7
Pacific
seconds
Ridge
left.
might have a
That's gonna do
chance,
it.
but it ended up being Hunter
That's gonna
Hayes
do it is
burying
knocking the
that
biscuit in.
fourth and final
Empty netter
goal.
right there
Will
to
be
seal the
Bondar,
deal.
and he will
And
score.
Pac Ridge gave it everything they could,
At
but could not solve the goaltender. If we look at the goaltending right there, it was the goaltender Bell, who had stopped 30 of 32 shots, was absolutely unbelievable. He beats Patty O'Donnell, who is actually great in his own right too, as he stopped 14 of 18, but it wasn't enough as Pac Ridge falls to the St. Mary's Rams, 4-2.
Let me tell you something really amazing about Tobias Bell in that game. He had goaltended the game before and was being absolutely fantastic in net, and he was able to finally get the win. He goaltended after that 12-hour bus ride all the way down and had an amazing game. Unfortunately, well, the Santa Margarita Eagles did what the Santa Margarita Eagles do.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was the final score on that one, 4-2, the final St. Mary's Rams over the Firebirds. And the final game we really want to highlight with highlights happened, well, Wednesday. Were you here on Wednesday?
Yes, I was.
You were here on Wednesday. Take it away.
Well, basically, it was Jay Serra, all in the first period. This goal being scored at the 14:47
Shot comes in,
mark.
and it's scored. I believe Edward Wilkins is going to get the goal. And
As they
Damian's
notched their first goal,
Jay
it's coming
Serra's
up right
first
here.
shot. It slips through.
That's right. Game right off the gate. 2 minutes in to make it 1-0. Then a couple minutes later, here's Hill on the power play.
Back up to Hill.
Basically,
Hill
about
now
5 minutes
with
later, he
the-
fires a shot.
shoots, and he'll
He'll make it
score!
I
2-0
don't know
right
if that's
there.
off a stick, if that's off
And
JJ
the
Dean's
Eagles
stick and in the
cruising
net.
at this point, up 2-0.
But
You
that's a
think,
great
oh my goodness, this is going to be a
redirect.
blowout
Nice
right
setup.
here. And let's go to a little bit later. Here's Jimmy
Bring it up
Dean,
now.
or
Here's
otherwise
Dean,
known
Dean.
as James Dean.
Backhander shot,
Not
and
a movie star, but still
actually
he
Garcia
shot like one
retreating.
right there as he
Had
scores
the
on the
wrong
power play
angle on
to
his
give Jay
skate.
Serra a
The puck bounced
3-0
off the
lead.
skate
And to tell you the
into
truth,
the
Christian,
bucket.
that was
Top
it for
fires
the
a shot,
offense.
and there's a big
To
save
take a
right
look
there by
what we looked
Rebound.
afterwards.
Mick
It's all
Lizzie
about
out.
Michelizzi as he stopped
That's Heritage.
19 of
Heritage
19
puts a
shots
shot
right
Makes a
there,
really nice
makes
save.
19
There's a shot.
saves,
That's what you
and
want
helps
as a
guide
coach,
the Jay
traffic
Serra
and
Lions
balance.
to a pretty easy 3-0 victory.
Yeah, you see it on your stat sheet in just a second. Kiernan, Hill, and Dean, the only goal scorers for Jay Serra. And for the Damian Spartans, you can see not much going on. Garcia actually
Danny Garcia
came
was
into the
absolute-
game.
yeah, he was absolutely outstanding. He was 23 of 24, did a great job for the Spartans. And I'll tell you one thing, the Spartans this year, they're not going to, until their forecheck starts advancing, we didn't see much from them in the first period. Second period, it seemed like the offense started clicking. And I think after a while, this team will start getting things moving. They did a great job after that, even after falling down 3-0. Late in the first period, this team came back. They skated hard. However, they were unable to handle Michelizzi.
And that's going to do it with our Division I wrap-up for this first episode of the report card. You can see the standings right there on your screen as we pull them up on ours. Capistrano United still at the top, 4 games in, 4 wins. That is including the game that we just got done doing over here against La Jolla Country Day. Capistrano United's just been that fantastic team.
Capistrano United is doing Kappa United type things, as Jean Lebay is doing a great job with that team right now. Don't forget they were undefeated against D1 last year, and right now they're cruising through here the first quarter of the season as they are now moved up to 4-0 with a very, very strong 11-0 victory over La Jolla Country Day this afternoon.
Currently undefeated in D1 this year as well,
Yeah,
I guess. And you guys were talking about it on the broadcast. For those of you that missed it, Chuck said we might have to bring in the D word if this Capistrano United team really takes care of business here.
Coach LeBay basically has a dynasty brewing right there, and you just thought last year with the loss of Zach Lane, basically Mr. All MVP. The team hasn't missed a beat, though, with the loss of Lane and several other players. You had Benny, I can't remember his name. He was number 20. He was a great kid for them as well. They had several other players they lost, but however, those kids that are replacing him right now, you have Doria today who had 2 goals, 2 assists. You had 4 players with 4 points, so it's an absolutely outstanding job by Coach LeBay and this Capistrano United team right there, as they are right now, as you mentioned, cruise to a 4-0 record. And as don't forget, last year they cruised through Division I as well as the D2 teams as they went undefeated as well.
The Pacific Ridge Eagles, the Eagles, the Firebirds, it's a different kind of bird. Right behind them, 3-2, 2-1 in their first 3 games. The one big thing to note there, one of those wins came against a giant, or at least one thing we've known.
Santa Margarita having some problems with the D2 new and up-and-comers right there, and Pacific Ridge. Basically, on Wednesday, they took Santa Margarita behind the woodshed. And it was 5-2. And
you say things so elegantly.
Well, I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, I'm not going to mince words right there. It was a pretty dominating performance by the Firebirds. We'll have some video highlights for you next week. But I'm telling you right now, looks like the top 2 teams right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not counting out Santa Margarita. I mean, Carrick Johnson knows how to coach, and I'm not even doubting his coaching whatsoever. But he kind of had this thing like last year where he started the Perky style, where he started the big build and stuff like that as they moved it up and up and up, and where they're ready for the national tournament time. And it's the same thing that I think what he has here. His team's a little younger, but still, they're going to end up being a force. But right now, Pac Ridge, they're after losing to St. Mary's, they come back with a big victory against Santa Margarita, and they basically move up to 2-1 into second place.
One other team I think that we need to keep an eye on in this top division would be the Orange Lutheran Lancers. Come out, they've won 2 games out of 2, and a very strong performance from them last night at Anaheim Ice. They were playing against Cherry Creek. We don't have any of those highlights for you guys, but they are the only team to beat Cherry Creek to
so
this
far,
point.
Yes, that's true. Cherry Creek also to dispose of Santa Margarita this afternoon.
And who else did they beat? You remember?
I'm trying to think.
Capistrano United. Can you believe that?
Yeah, wow. So that's incredible job, by Orange Lutheran. No one's really talked about them. You had the coaching change, and of course we're going to see Coach Dan Adams coming up here for our 4 o'clock game, or our 6:20 game? 6:20 game.
It's going to start at some point.
Right,
you'll see it.
On the Anaheim Duck, or on Black Dog, actually.
It's over on Black Dog.
But don't forget to tune into that, as you'll see them play Cherry Creek this afternoon. And so, but other than that, Orange Lutheran, they're the team that you don't know what was going on. We knew about pretty much everybody else who they lost, but you weren't sure about Orange Lutheran. But Orange Lutheran doing an absolutely outstanding job right now. And with that, I think they're just continuing to move forward with the big victory over more veteran Cherry Creek team than we saw last year.
Absolutely. Now, that noise you hear, you can probably hear it from behind us. That's a Division II or Division III game. We don't cover those, but you had some notes on some of those games and what was going on, too.
I thought I did, but I just lost them. Let me see if I have. I got still.
It's fine. We have the internet for a reason.
There's a reason why. Yes, exactly. I got it right here. Here we go. I found it. Okay, let's go back to last Friday, where St. John Bosco took care of Beckman, where they beat them by a score of 3-1. And then last Saturday, Beach Cities basically almost whitewashed Corona, as they beat Corona Norco by a score of 6-1. Also in that play, it was Central Cathedral down in San Diego, as they defeated Irvine United by a score of 6-3. The defending national champ. No, it was Beckman. Did Irvine United win Division III, or was it Beckman? I forget. Irvine United, Division III champions, moving up to Division II, and they lose that game to Central Cathedral. Finally, last but not least, St. John Bosco came back again, and they took care of business again with a 3-2 victory over North County. Moving to this last Wednesday, it was UCAA, who we don't mention too much on the air, but now here's one for you right here, all you UCAA fans right here, as they basically took care of North County, doubling up the score, defeating them 6-3. Finally, last night we had 2 games to report as well. It was all Beckman over Beach Cities, as they beat the Beach City squad by a score of 8-0. And finally, last but not least, Central Cathedral put up a hard fight, but they could not defeat Poway, as they lost down in San Diego by a score of 6-4.
We don't have the Division II standings for you on screen, but we've got it right out here in front of us. You can find all of the stats and updated going-on info, even live scoring, at ADHSHL.com, the league's website. So make sure you head over there. And if you want to follow along, you can. Beckman, Central Cathedral, and UCA Hockey, all at the top. All 3 games played, all 2-1. Seems to be a tight division there.
No, exactly. And it's going to be very interesting to see, because San Diego is actually going to be sending a Division II representative down there as well, so to the D2 national tournament. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one of those schools is going to represent the league. We're going to actually have 2 representatives from this league at the D2 level as well.
Should be fantastic. As we have mentioned in the past, both on the report card, I believe Eric mentioned it on the opening episode. We've definitely talked about it in the broadcast booth. Vegas is no longer Vegas White and Vegas Gray. It's just one team.
One straight Vegas.
Down in Division 3, they came out week 1.
They're all in, baby.
They dominated. 2 wins immediately in. Their social media page has been going crazy every time any standings are posted, saying that they're in first place. Well, they are. And a very strong Division 3 Capistrano United Coyotes team as well. They dominate as well, continuing to dominate.
They're having a tough time with Jay Serra right now as they're tied 2-2 here late in the second.
But that Capistrano United program is just unbelievable.
They just keep turning over, just talent after talent. You got to like the talent that they have in the South County right there, doing a good job. And what players that Jay Serra and Santa Margarita aren't getting down there, basically it's going to be the public schools in which Capistrano United and Coach Jean LeBay takes, and he just sort of keeps on spitting out team after team after team. As you mentioned, there's the D word, and otherwise with the dynasty afterwards. So it's going really, really well right now, and all things are firing all cylinders right now for Capistrano United.
I was trying to spell dynasty out with my fingers, but I forgot how to do that backwards.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, a lot of big things are coming up for the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League throughout this year. One of the big things, Chuck, we're going back to Vegas. Last time you all were on screen out here, well, we were there.
Yep.
This time we're going back for the 3rd time, and we're including teams like West Ranch and Faith Lutheran from Las Vegas that we've already announced. So more teams coming in on this Vegas showcase.
It's just going to show the power and just see where the teams in this league are really at right there, where you're going to face West Ranch, who's a dominant in another hockey league that we know of, and I'm not going to mention names. And then, of course, you have Faith Lutheran in Las Vegas as well, so it's going to see what kind of competition that they're building up in Vegas. You know, with the Knights out there, there's hockey. And everywhere we went in Vegas, all you saw was that V with that ugly knight and stuff like that. But still, at the same point, they're doing a great job, and more kids are playing hockey. You thought it was down big in the desert in Phoenix. It's blowing up in Las Vegas right now.
This is the first time I've ever said this on this show. The views expressed by Chuck Lejsek do not reflect of that of the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League or its affiliates or its franchises or anything that would go into a very long legal sentence.
Exactly.
But yeah, things are going. Faith Lutheran, and I know a number of other teams have at least talked about possibly joining the league at some point as we get ready for a big 10th anniversary season next year.
Well, I like what Cherry Creek's doing right now. Cherry Creek's also coming out here, and they're testing our D1 competition. Obviously, Orange Lutheran, the only team to beat them. Or no, excuse me. Was it Orange Lutheran who beat them last night again?
Orange Lutheran beat them last night.
Beat them last night. Is Jay Serra's turn tonight?
Jay Serra's taking them on tonight? Yes.
Jay Serra's tonight. They actually beat the national champions, as I mentioned earlier before, Santa Margarita this afternoon, winning in overtime by a score of 4-3. Their second victory in a row against the defending national champions 2 years in a row. Don't forget they beat them in overtime last year, too. They went wild like they won the Stanley Cup, and you know what? All right, they had every right to, because they played one heck of a game, and from what we saw from the score sheet down in Anaheim, the same thing this afternoon, beating Santa Margarita by the same score.
Yeah, at some point you have to kind of celebrate those big victories, even if it's just an exhibition game.
Still,
it's a big deal.
Exactly.
And that team last year from Santa Margarita had all those big names still. A lot of them have graduated, but the Santa Margarita team, I remember I was talking to Coach Craig Johnson in the parking lot of all places during the Anaheim rookie face-off, and he said, you know, last year it kind of started off as a rebuild. That's what we were all talking about, is a rebuild. And then they went and won a national championship.
Exactly.
So
no, don't count them out ever.
Never count out the Santa Margarita Eagles. That's one thing that we've learned throughout this process. Another thing that we're really excited about for the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League this year, a tradition that we have set is the All-Star Games, Chucks, there's multiple of you. There's multiple of you in my mind, I'll tell you that, because I never get your voice out of my head. But we're going to still do the Division 3, Division 2, Division 1, I'm sorry, junior varsity, and a senior game. In fact, some people you might have heard of named Steve Carroll and Dan Wood decided to mention it on the Anaheim rookie face-off broadcast. We're really excited about this event another year, Chuck.
Exactly. You know what I look forward to every time at the time of the All-Star game is jersey reveal. I mean, they go time after time, sometimes incorporating in what goes on with the Ducks and and on top of with the league. It's going to be very interesting to see what is up everybody's sleeve and what kind of jerseys that will come out for both the home and the visitor this year. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Something tells me we're going to get a blue and green kind of style one of these times. I don't know what it is.
I'll take
that. But something from the East Coast just seems like it's going to happen eventually.
That's definitely a possibility.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Do something like that. Well, that being said, folks, that's just about it for what we have here on the report card for you today. We do apologize for...
We'll get better. This is our first
just
time.
about everything that happened today. We're going to get things going. A lot of lessons were learned today on my part as I hit microphones and your part, and definitely other people's part behind the camera. But we do apologize for all that, but we are so thankful that you have joined us for the report card here in Season 3 of the report card. As we get ready to sign off, Chuck, any final words as we get ready to continue this season?
Let's just keep it moving. It seems like we're almost in full swing right now, and it's great to sit there. And I mean, we have games now Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now it shows you just how big the league is getting, and just keep on watching, and we'll keep on pulling out quality broadcasts. Better than this one, I'll tell you that much. And we'll take it from there.
We got a pretty cool video for you guys coming up. You'll see something right now, and then you'll see the really nice video that we've actually been debuting out here at the rink throughout the night. Thank you throughout the season. Thank you for joining us here on Black Dog Hockey. A big thank you to on the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Facebook page. A big thank you to Andy Dickerson for letting us use all of his stuff from Black Dog Hockey. Of course, a big thank you to Commissioner Matt Blanchard and Austin Mader, the Director of Operations here for the league, for everything that they've been able to help us here. And you know what? A big thank you to Jonathan Boyko. We tried to get him on the show today, but it just didn't happen. But we'll get him on next time maybe. But a big thank you to everybody that was involved. Thank you so much, and we will see you guys on the next time for the report card.
On Judgment Day, I won't fade away. I'll be pushing on till my